So I tell people, everybody, if you live long enough, you will get into retirement. And that is one aspect of life that most people are ill prepared for. Some people are prepared financially, but they are not prepared in terms of lifestyle. Like when you have your financial planning sessions with me, when we are talking about retirement, I will ask you two questions. Are you prepared financially? And then are you prepared for lifestyle? When I say lifestyle now, I don't mean how lovely or gorgeous you look. No, that finance can take care of. I mean what you will be doing when you wake up in the morning. And you can all go look at retirees in your neighborhood, in your family. What do they do when they wake up? You find out that for many retirees, it's as if they're just waiting for death to occur. And that's because they've not found a way to, even if not monetize, they've not found a way to create a system around all of the knowledge they've acquired, all of the skills, all of the experiences they've acquired. Then for many of them, they are unable to do it much because they don't have the money. And the reason they don't have the money is because when they were earning, they didn't fund their retirement lifestyle. And that's what I tell people. Pay yourself first. When you earn a living, you get a paycheck. That paycheck is like revenue in business. It does not belong to you. It belongs to many parties. It belongs to the woman selling pepper, the woman selling bread, the woman selling eggs, the transporter. You are paying all of those people. But guess what? A portion of it belongs to you as well.
It's another episode of the Knowledge Money Podcast. And as usual, you know that on this podcast, all our conversations lead to the money. Every conversation we are having is about how you can make money, basically. My name is Emeka Nobis, and I'm proud to be the host of this podcast. And today, I have another great guest on the podcast today. My friend, thankfully, she's my friend, and she likes to whip us, flog us. She's a nice person, but when it comes to money, she doesn't joke with that. All right, so today I have my great friend Tobore in here on the seat today, and we're going to be having conversations as usual, and I know it's going to be a very great time. Welcome very much, Ma.
Thank you very much, Emeka. It's good to be here.
You're doing like as if you're nice.
I'm very nice. I don't know what first friend. Malicious rumor. I'm very nice. Don't mind Emeka and co. It's good to be here, Emeka. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Ma. So we dive straight into it. You worked 16 years in the bank. I did 10 years in as an engineer.
Okay.
Or 16 years in the bank, and then you transited into becoming what you are today, a personal finance coach. A lot of individuals want to do transitioning, but they are scared, they are doubtful. Take us through your own journey. I mean, what was the process like? Were you fearful? Did you have people you confided in? What really made you think that you are going to thrive after leaving the banking industry? Because a lot of people, the bank. I mean, there's a lot of money flowing. Bankers are paid well and all that kind of stuff. So take us through your journey.
So I'll start from just before I quit.
Okay.
Prior to 2016 or 2015, if you had asked me, I'd planned to leave the bank in 2013, which would have made me about 10 years plus in banking. That's when I had planned to quit. But my husband begged me because we're both paid employees at the time. And he begged me that, please, I know you really want to quit. The job was stressful. I had got to the point where I knew there was more for me. And I also knew that I wasn't getting it all in banking. Banking was good. It paid the bills. I got to meet fantastic people, but I just knew there was more. And I was tired. I needed to leave. But my husband begged me. I said, leaving is not the problem. But if you leave now, the burden will be too much on me and we might struggle. I don't want a situation where we've come from a place of ease and then we start struggling. Please give me some time, at least till we move into our own home. And then I said to him, if we move into our own home, can I quit? And he said, please, once we move into our own home, quit. At the point of moving into our own home, we would have had our last baby out of the early years as well. So I gave a commitment. So he gave me a commitment and said, once we move into our own home, I could leave. We moved into our own home in 2015, thereabouts. Now, if I had left in 2013, those of you who know me prior to, if you've ever known me before all my banking years, you would have known me as a baker. So I was a baker from the age of 11 till long after I quit banking. So if I had left in 2013, I would have set up my own fantastic coffee shop. In fact, I wanted to set up a gourmet coffee shop for the elite. But in 2015, something happened. I remember I've been a banker across different aspects of banking. But in 2015, I got selected to go for a training to become a financial planner. And it marked the turning point of my life. So even though I was ready to quit as 2013, but after the financial planning training, I realized that it would have been a disaster if I had quit in 2013. So thank God I listened to my husband and I waited. After the training in 2015, in fact, during the training to become a financial planner, I realized that not only was my country a mess in terms of the deficiency in the knowledge about financial planning, my continent was a mess and my race was a mess. And while I was there, I got a message. Emeka, believe it or not, it was a voice, not vavavoom voice, but it was a voice in the spirit saying, pay attention, listen, because you will take this message to the marketplace in Nigeria. And I said, obviously, this voice is not talking to me. Because in all the things the voice was saying, I was not hearing money. So just saying, go. I knew I was not going anywhere. Fast forward to when I got back to Nigeria from the training was done in South Africa. So when I got back to Nigeria, I realized that I was now propelled to get the heck out of banking and get into the streets with this message. So it was no longer about me, it was now about a compulsion to leave. It's a long story how I managed to extricate myself from the job. I pleaded. I actually I wanted the bank to exit me so that they would pay me something. So after almost 16 years, if bank asks you to go, they'll give you something, that will enable your meaning. But they were not interested. In fact, they were even angling to promote me. And I knew I had to leave because I could no longer stay. I knew that the message was heavy, it was important, and it was extremely urgent. After waiting for all of those stuff to happen, it didn't happen. And I kept hearing a message, see me that I'm not a pastor, but I was sent on a pastoral something. And the message kept saying, nobody will sack you. Get out now and go and do the work I have told you. So it now moved to beyond me. On the, I think it was 4th of January, I handed in my notice. So in the new year. By the way, December 2018, I asked my husband, I said, it's time. And he said, my wife, please go ahead. By then, we moved into our home. My daughter was already in, I think, primary school. So the home front was good. And I asked my husband, sweetie, can I quit now? And he said, please go ahead. Thank you for waiting. So I handed in my paper. The first working day of 2019, I resigned. Gave 1 month notice so I could prepare the person who was to take over after me. So that's the journey. But getting out into the marketplace, some things I needed to do. For those who are thinking, can I go? First of all, you need to have a strong conviction to go. But for me, another thing that was important was all stakeholders had to be aware. They didn't agree, but I needed their buy-in. I needed their support.
Well, who are these post stakeholders?
The number one stakeholder, of course, was my husband, and I already had his approval. But you see, my mother, hey, my mom is a retiree. At the time, she was seriously, I mean, we were the ones funding her. She had her own business, but I was sending her regular stipends and giving her, how support is from a child. So when I said I was ready to quit, I called my mom. I think I went to see her. And I said, Mom, it's time. I'm leaving the bank. Hey!
Or was it necessary for you to get her?
I needed, not necessarily her approval, but I needed her to know that I was going on this journey. I told my siblings, just basically family members, especially those who were dependent on outflows from my accounts. So my children had been informed, my husband had been informed. The next most important person was my mom. So I went to mom and I said, Mommy, I'm leaving bank. She said, don't worry. This time we work hard to get. Hey, my pikin. Is it the stress? But you've managed it for these years now. Just try. Work is hard though. And I looked at her and I knew that her complaint wasn't coming from worry about me per se. So the financial, the foundation of the complaint was financial.
The money.
Because what I could hear in the cry was, my pikin, this place you are going, I hope you will still be able to function.
The way you've been functioning.
Absolutely. So I said to her, I looked at her and I said, Mommy, don't worry. Your stipends for the next I told her 18 months, for the next 1.5 years is intact. No matter what is starting. You need to see my match change down for me. That backing work nearly killed you to away. My pikin, thank God for you. Go, I bless you. Go with my blessing. So it was important that I carried all stakeholders along. Immediately, I had all of their approvals. I put in my resignation notice. But again, there were also stakeholders in the bank. There were people who were looking up to me, people who were hanging in there for me, people I kept encouraging. I needed to get all of them on the same page and tell them that they could still have access to me. So once all of that was in place, I got out. And I got out without the payoff. I got out and I hit the streets running. And since then, there's been no iota, not even the tiniest iota of regret. Not any inkling of wish of, oh, I wish I had stayed, but there's none of that because it was clear it was time to move. And when I moved with conviction.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that story and taking us through your process. I mean, my own story was a big different, and I also needed to get stakeholders on board, but my mom wasn't here. And I think she was the only one that disobeyed. We moved on. After a while, she caught on. You've mentioned your husband, and you had spousal support,
Oh, yes.
because I know a lot of individuals who want to transit may not have spousal support, either from their wives or from their husbands. Do you think this is important and significant for the journey, for those who want to transit, and what role does it play in your wholesomeness and your, functionality on this in building your business now?
So for me, I personally, and it's beyond just personally, even in the nature, the nature of the work I do, I interact with people on a deeply personal level. And I can tell you for free that when you have spousal support, it makes all the difference. Because I tell people marriage is teamwork. I'm not a marriage counselor, but with experience and all I've seen, I can tell you for free that the journey is a lot easier if your spouse supports you. The Because you are going out to meet war, you don't want to come back home and meet war. You want to have a sanctuary to come back to. So for those who want to leave, and for those who are married to those who want to leave, beyond telling them, hey, I don't support this thing, you're being very stubborn, oh, don't do this, oh, you don't have to listen to me, beyond all of that, sit down, go, if possible, go on a date and analyze it. Find out why your spouse wants to leave. Sometimes what is chasing them from where they are is beyond all of the highfalutin, nice, lofty ideas. Sometimes they might be in danger where they are working. Sometimes they might be in pain. Sometimes they might be going through trauma and they are unable to share even with their spouses. Understand that the person you're married to is not a wild animal. The person has a sense of reasoning and respect it. Then have a real conversation. If the person is being unreasonable, in quote, one way to bring the person to their senses is to go through a checklist. A simple checklist would be a financial checklist. Like my husband asked me the first time, if even the second time when I was now ready to go, he said, babe, what this means is that if for any reason this thing doesn't succeed the way we pray and hope it does, what it means is that we will depend on my pay. And I hope you understand what that means. I understood what it meant. I was a finance person. What it meant was I was going to take a lifestyle cut, a pay cut. The family was going to adjust. And we had a plan for that worst case scenario. So for people who are partners, I would like them to have these kinds of conversation. Leave emotions first. Have the real practical conversations and let everybody come to the table of that conversation with humility and respect, and of course, love. Because once you go out, especially if you want to do entrepreneurship, it is war. The market, the streets are wild. You don't want a partner who is not with you on the journey. For me, I think my biggest support, I know a lot of people will say funny things like, you don't need your husband's support, you can do it on your own, you're an adult, but it's not true. You need your spouse's support, whether husband or wife. Because again, for me, for example, my kids were young at the time, and sometimes I had to travel. What that meant was, Sweetie, I called my husband Sweetie. Sweetie had to take charge of the home front. He would have to prepare breakfast. He would have to take the children to school. Then sometimes he had to travel for conferences. What that meant was our schedules had to work because our children were young before they all finally went off to secondary school. If we were not in tandem, if we didn't have that synergy, it would have been a struggle. I would have always been in a place of bitterness, anger, resentment. But I think I'm one of the luckiest people. I am doing this with the 1000% support of my husband. and it has made the journey a lot easier. It has also made me go into the journey with the lightness of, because as an entrepreneur, you know that some days are heavy, some days are hard. But I go knowing that my husband has got my back. Worst case scenario, but if I fail everywhere outside, I will not fail at home. So my home was always available to welcome me. And I think that's important.
Well, I know you're not a relationship coach, but you know why I asked this question? Because we're in Africa, big.
Oh yeah.
And it seems that this thing is a little bit, would I say, tangled when it comes to, to women. And I've met quite a lot.
Oh yeah.
Somebody on Facebook the other day said, as a woman, you cannot be able to rise above the mental level of your husband. And it was a start to his conversation.
Okay.
And I kept on listening, and he made some sense, and that's why I see quite a number of individuals who are struggling. But what is it? What can you share as piece of advice? I don't know. There may be a number of women who are there who want to transit, but their husband gets strong head. They are not believing in them. It is like it's a quarrel. It's like
Painful.
sometimes it could even be inferiority complex. Like the woman is going to be ahead. I mean, I've coached a woman one time when it came to visibility. She now began to get speaking engagements. People began to follow her on Facebook, a lot of comments, and the man became threatened by that success. And I tell you, she had to shut down.
Oh yeah.
Till today. So I don't know what you can share.
Well,
particularly for the women.
For me, it's not even just women and men.
Yeah.
Because if you have a man who is visible, so let's talk about the man first. If you have a man who is visible, he's always out there, always in hotels, always surrounded by fans. So you are in that kind of spotlight. If the woman is intimidated, she will begin to have trust issues because it's not as if you start here to like, it's not as if I don't trust you, my husband. It's those finini.
Around you.
Those round matters around you, I don't trust. What she's saying, in effect, is that she doesn't trust the situation. So it's the same thing. For a man, is worse because, for a woman who has a man in that space, is worse because in Africa and indeed generally in our climes, the man has the power, in quotes, to say, shut the business down. And the woman will be compelled to shut it down. Because if she doesn't shut it down, he will abandon the home front, ensure that she stays back to take care of the children and the home, thereby frustrating her growth. So the man has that power, which makes it a bit more intricate for the woman. So I'm going to say the advice I will give is, and if you've listened to me long enough, you will hear me say it. Be very careful even before you marry. Be careful. Marry a kind person. There are many attributes of and I know there are many young people who are still falling in love. And people like to fall. And this will falling. Can't you stand in love? But let's leave English. When you are falling in love, when you see your heart going, because the heart goes where it likes, encourage your heart to go towards someone who is kind. Because when the chips are down in marriage, a kind partner is what you need. He may be poor, he may be wealthy, he may be anything. A poor, unkind person is a superlative demon. A rich, unkind person is a very bad demon. But the demonism is different. But when you have poor and unkind, rich and unkind, you'll find out that the trappings of wealth will not be enough to undo the damage. So start with marrying a kind person. Now, if you marry a kind person, we can have a conversation. You can come to him and say, look, sweetheart, this is what I want to do. He will listen. Even if he does not agree, he will not be mean. He will not be mean-spirited. He will not try to erode your sense of self-worth. He will not tell you unkind words. Even if he's chastising you, even if he's saying he disagrees with what you're doing, even when he wants to tell you, look, babe, it's not as if I don't want you to do this, but I don't want you exposed. I know how the world is out there. You are naive. I want to protect you. When he's saying it the way I'm saying it. He's saying it from a position of care. Not, don't tell me, it's as if you don't know. Don't you know that all those men are looking at you? I know you like it. Yeah, he's not coming from that space. So start with being a kind person. And you, man and woman, married to someone in the limelight, can you try and, even if you're not a kind person, can you adorn yourself with the garments of kindness? Let's all be a bit kinder. If we all make a bit of effort makes the journey easier. So for those who are struggling with their spouses, if it's the woman, I will tell you to approach with logic. Men typically listen to logic. Come with logic, let him see, and then begin to wean him. The wean, I'm talking about WEAN. Wean him into that space. Let him see what you're trying to do. And if he says don't go, categorically, try not to go. Try to get him to agree with you to go. So if he's saying, for example, I don't like the idea of you staying in a hotel, then ask him, okay, so that's, I agree totally. Hotels can be somewhat unsafe sometimes. What would you rather I did? Where would you rather I stayed? Have the conversation. Then he will say something like, and I don't know, but just to stay in a hotel. Okay. In other words, if I were to get a colleague's home, would you be comfortable with that? And this your colleague, is he married or is sick? So what's happening is that there's dialogue going on. You're having a conversation. But if you go with, you don't have a right, or there will be too much anger. Now you can go. You can even look like you're flourishing, but in your heart, you're unhappy. There's build up of pain, resentment, and it doesn't take a lot for the marriage to crack. It really doesn't take. And once there's a crack, chances that it will begin to shatter are high. And then it also gives, remember, and I don't care what anybody says. Yes, we'll have, and social media is really not the place where you want to listen to advice. Everybody on social media has an opinion. But you want to also be careful. The truth of the matter is, Emeka, if I stand on stage, and I'm saying this with every degree of responsibility, when I stand on stage and I say, look, my name is Tobori Olumoye, I have an education, I have experience, I have knowledge, I have competency, I have a husband, we have children, we are in a home, we are together and we are building the home and we believe in God and God is helping us. Versus if I came on stage and I said, oh, my name is Tobore, I have 3 children for the 3 different men, the men that, it's God done that I will fire them, they not get sense. It's not as if it's my fault. One of the men that who impregnated me, even though one of them died, even that one self was useless. Yes, I don't even need a man in my life, but I'm doing well, I'm thriving, I'm your best financial coach. It's we don't have to believe in God for everything. Just if you work hard. If you look at these 2 scenarios, let nobody deceive you. You would realize that the first version elicits some sense of responsibility.
And leadership.
Exactly. And the audience listening to you would, by default, attribute a sense of responsibility to that version. So you will say that even for your brand, it is important to have some kind of stability in the home front. It also protects you from, and the wild people out there, a lot of people out there are wild. They just want to, they really want to tarnish your image. They're coming out to see if they can tarnish your brand. But if you present a solid home front at the first instance, or in the first instance, you'll find out that it also helps you on your journey. So that's what I will say, that for people who think that spousal support is not important, I personally think it is. I am a living witness that it is important, because I'm not sure I would have enjoyed the journey so much, and I certainly wouldn't have achieved as much as I currently have if I didn't have my husband's support.
One of the things that people don't like you for, when you tell them they should have, I don't know if the price, if the figure has changed now. When you tell them they have to have 200 million,
Their retirement account. I say, oh, my full chest.
I don't know if the price, if the figure has changed now.
It changed.
I feel like Jesus Christ. So then, how am I going to get 200 million? So, but then you now go ahead and tell them what they should do, to be able to start,
Absolutely.
make this income happen. And I'm very, very happy when you break down those income streams. Please take us through that journey. I mean, through that list again. I mean, and I know that I'm happy that majority of those things on the list have to do with monetizing knowledge.
Absolutely. So I tell people, everybody, if you live long enough, you will get into retirement. And that is one aspect of life that most people are ill prepared for. Some people are prepared financially, but they are not prepared in terms of lifestyle. When you have your financial planning sessions with me, when we are talking about retirement, I will ask you 2 questions. Are you prepared financially? And then are you prepared for lifestyle? When I say lifestyle now, I don't mean how lovely or gorgeous you look. No, that finance can take care of. I mean what you will be doing when you wake up in the morning. And you can all go look at retirees in your neighborhood, in your family. What do they do when they wake up? You find out that for many retirees, it's as if they are just waiting for death to occur. And that's because they've not found a way to, even if not monetize, they've not found a way to create a system around all of the knowledge they've acquired, all of the skills, all of the experiences they've acquired. Then, for many of them, they are unable to do it much because they don't have the money. And the reason they don't have the money is because when they were earning, they didn't fund their retirement lifestyle. And that's what I tell people: pay yourself first. When you earn a living, you get a paycheck. That paycheck is like revenue in business. It does not belong to you. It belongs to many parties. It belongs to the woman selling pepper, the woman selling bread, the woman selling eggs, the transporter. You are paying all of those people. But guess what? A portion of it belongs to you as well. And the most important part of you it belongs to is your future self. Your future self is retirement. You must pay your retirement self first, the retiree version of you. And guess what? It's very expensive because your retired version is in the future. But one thing that I tell people, one way, one shortcut, because if you calculate how much you will need in retirement, it's enough to make you age. As of today, it used to be 72 million. When it was 72 million, when I asked them, do you have 72 million? They will be shouting, hey, how can? It's impossible, this and that. Now, many people are living in that reality that even 72 million is not enough. Can do the simple math in present value of money. If as of today you need 500,000 a month to fund your monthly basic lifestyle, not you can't go on a vacation abroad, you can't have any complicated sickness, just simple eat food, take small medication, don't have car, don't have generator, live in your own home. Then wait before you know death will occur. Just that simple lifestyle. You need over 500K to fund it as of today. Now imagine you lived for 30 years. How much is that? 500K, 6 million, 30 years, 180 million. Barest minimum that you'll need for retirement. Now, the problem is if that money is not available today, how is it going to compound and fight inflation? That's the challenge. But the good news is, even if you don't have it, you can build systems that help to fund it. And Rebecca, God bless you for KMU. It's not even about you, whether you did it or you didn't do it. Whoever would have done it would have taken the credit. For those who have understood that one of the best things you can do, even for the retired version of yourself, is to convert what you know, what you can do, what you have acquired as knowledge, information, experience into a money stream. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Most of my retirees, I tell them, you don't even have to consult. All you have to do is share. Just share. Stand on a stage and tell people all the things you did. That will keep you viable in terms of money and viable in terms of health in your retirement. So you see that. Look at all your public speakers who are in retirement stage, who are making money from their knowledge. You see that they look young, they look happy, they look excited, versus those who are not doing such. Even when they have money, they look tired. They look like the word is listless. They look like there's no need. What am I living for? So retirement is expensive, but a shortcut will be converting what you did pre-retirement into a means of income post-retirement or during retirement.
Awesome. So I don't know if you can take us, at least,
Oh, some of the numbers, those
some of the things people can do in terms of those things they have to be doing to be able to get more income.
Oh,
Because you've listed, you've spoken about having a physical business, having
oh, okay. You mean my questionnaire? The popular questionnaire. Yeah. So typically, I take people on the journey. If you are encountering me for the first time, I would like to ask you to check your current status, and it depends on the audience. If it's a mixed audience for entrepreneurs, paid employees, I would typically say there are about 26 of such questions. And the questions vary from: do you have a financial plan? Do you have a budget that is automated and realistic? So a test of a budget will be if I were to ask you how much you spent on groceries in July 2024, for instance. You should be able to tell me an amount. Don't tell me it's God that has been helping us. No, you should be able to refer to, but because what budget is numbers. Don't use words to explain your budget. Some people their budget in their head, that obviously will just run and foreign. We're just doing one or two. That is not a budget. So the list also asks questions around budget. Asks questions: Are you completely free of debt? The nature of your debt. Asks questions around: Do you have enough money to see yourself through 6 months living expenses? If you were suddenly to stop earning money now, can you continue to thrive based on the balance in your emergency fund? Ask questions around adequacy of funds for children's education. Over for people who don't have children yet. So even for those who have not started having children, we'll ask you, are you prepared for the children you are planning to born? Because you want to born Pekin, you must prepare the funds for them. It asks those kinds of questions, asks questions around whether you own land and the nature of the ownership, whether the title is good, is it completely yours, is it transferable, do you own a house? Some people say they have house. Meanwhile, if you tell them, show me the house, they say, my brother, we just finished foundation. My God, but when you use words to try to explain simple facts or numbers, then you know that you have a problem. So the questionnaire is asking you that: Do you have a house? Is it roofed? Can you rent it out? It's asking you questions around insurance. Do you have adequate life insurance? Do you have adequate health insurance? Do you have an endowment in place? Do you have medical insurance? Do you have family history of medical cases? Because if you do, chances are you carry those genes and you must prepare for it. It asks questions around earnings. How do you earn? Do you earn from a physical product, a digital product, a physical service, digital service? Are you prepared for retirement? Then it asks you how well funded your retirement account is. It asks questions around the investment, the nature of your investment. It asks around the frequency of your earnings, all kinds of questions. By the time the questionnaire is done with you, you will see that it has touched different aspects of your life. That you have a will in place. Have you written and registered your will? Do you have plans for legacy, etc., etc.? Do you have a financial planner? Do you have someone an accountability partner? Then for those in business, it goes ahead to ask questions around pricing, around the model of the business, questions around the exit strategy. It's by the time you are done answering the questions, you have a clearer perspective of where you are. For many people, it's usually a rude shock initially. Many of them don't like me. In fact, I actually stand on the stage and I can feel the arrows being shot at me, as if I'm the one answering the questions. But by the time they get home and ruminate over the words, I get the feedback. Oh, thank you very much, ma. You shook me to my core. But thank God for the shaking because now I'm more aware. So those questions bring to your consciousness the importance of facing the different aspects of life. Is it unpleasant? Yes. Is it hard? Yes. But just like any good, effective medicine, it may be bitter initially, but it does the work and it brings you back to health. So those are the questions those are typical questions, yes.
So, man, at the present now, you do public speaking, you're writing books, you're doing consulting, you're doing coaching, and all these things are all around
Knowledge.
core thing, knowledge, your experiences, and all that. Based on this, is this something you can tell to anyone who is watching us right now to look inwards and see how they can start to build these streams around the experiences and the expertise and their knowledge?
Okay, let me share something. I had a session with a client on my way here. I had a session in the car, and it was the first time she was hearing that I baked cakes. It was the very first time. She didn't know. She probably thought in my mother's womb I was a finance somebody. If you knew me between when I was 11 and before I went for financial planning training, if you knew me then, you would have known me as a baker. That's what I was known for. In fact, most people say my name as Tobore Cakes. That's what I was known for. Or Tobore Chin Chin, depending on which of my pastries you encountered first. So I could have stepped out and done that and taught that, and I would have enjoyed it. I could have consulted in that field. But when I became a financial planner, I switched because I realized that the work was far more. And besides, I was sent to do it. Now, let me tell you the shocker. Between primary one, that's primary one, no, preschool, between nursery school and today, as I stand here in front of you, I have never written an exam. Of course, apart from certifications later on, I have never written an exam. In other words, my degree is in chemical engineering. Maybe postgraduate, yes, to do a few things around money, but I have never learned about money. I didn't do commerce, I didn't do economics. In fact, before I became a financial planner, I didn't do anything finance. All of the knowledge I use today, even to guide my hundreds and thousands of people in the audience and the hundreds of clients I have scattered across the world, is from experience. And I got the experience in banking. So wherever you are in the world, don't undermine experience. And it can be anything. There are people who have extracted 9 teeth out of their mouths. That is some crazy experience. There are people who are afraid of extracting one tooth. You can share the journey with them. We can teach them. We can encourage them. Today, I have so much experience that even if I were to shut down personal finance, I can still thrive on virtual. I have experience. Am I not married to a Nigerian male? That is a lot of experience. I have Nigerian children, 3, a lot of experience. I have in-laws, Nigerian, a lot of experience. I live in Nigeria, it's a lot of experience. I'm alive in Nigeria today, is experience. So anything you have knowledge, don't wait until. So people say, oh, I don't feel, a big issue is imposter syndrome. I don't feel qualified to do what I do. Let me tell you, let me use myself as a motivation. I don't usually motivate, but let me motivate you today. If I could be called and then qualified, so can you. Because God called me first, then qualified me. It had to be God, because nobody, because if you tell me prove it was God, the fact that I am here today thriving is proof that God called me. Because I was the least qualified person to do the job. There are people who have PhDs in banking and finance, people who have multiple PhDs, really, multiple master's degree in finance, in accounting. We have chartered accountants, but many of them do not know 1/10 of what I know. Because it is not personal finance, it's accounting. So the fact that you do not have educational qualification does not mean you're not qualified. If you have the experience, if you have the knowledge, if you have even the competencies, whatever it is, you can. And we are not. I think for when I hear knowledge money, I don't think you are being called to be perfect. You are being called to share even the little one you have and you are. Just share it, because you may see yourself as, oh, I'm just a candle. But for someone in the dark, you are light. You don't have to wait till you are some fluorescent bulb or heavy street lighting. No, just a candle can show somebody who is in the dark. And that's all we implore people to do. Come out and let your light shine. No matter how small the light is, it will give direction to someone who is groping in the dark. And that's what I would like to say about it.
Awesome. Awesome. So you've been doing coaching for a number of years now. I just wanted to know, what's one ethical dilemma that you've experienced as a coach?
For me, I'm not sure it had ever been. I've never really experienced any of those kinds of dilemmas. Not really, because I've always been very clear. And I'll give an example. I will not mention the name because, again, I'm on air.
Absolutely.
There are organizations that, in fact, most organizations, I have companies, I have limited liability companies. You will never know about them because I don't put them out there, but I use them for certain kinds of stuff, right? But when it comes to coaching, there are some organizations that I will not bid for jobs. I will not submit my proposal. My name will not feature. And the reason is simple. Those organizations will ask me to give them kickback, and I will not. It is just not my nature. I will not do it. So what do those organizations do? Because they need me to speak. I speak there regularly. What do they do? Because they need me and they know that I will not play ball, in quote. They ask me so they give the jobs to the contractors and then ask the contractors to engage me to do the coaching for that or to do the training for them. And I'm fine with that. Just pay me my money and let me go. Don't ask me to come and do all of the underhand stuff. I do not have the moral capacity to play that kind of game.
Increasing the
No, inflating, no, I've not.
Inflating.
And then giving bribes.
Then they will cut.
I just cannot. Or not doing the job and saying I did it. It's not in my, if you know me very well, I am extremely principled when it comes to certain things. And it's one of my hard lines. I'm not going to cross it for any reason. So for some people, that can be quite a bit of a challenge. having to compromise on such things. That I think that would be the biggest one. I don't face most of the, maybe because of the kind of conversation I have. I don't have men saying, madam, I like you. By the time I've asked you if you have 180 million in your retirement account, you cannot look at me and say, you cannot like me. I'm not easily likable. I don't also have, which other one is common? Collect money and keep it. It's my field. I don't have a lot of those. People, to be very fair, people have been extremely courteous. It's been quite an amazing journey. People are decent when it comes to it came because I'm talking about money and I'm talking about personal finance. So people tend to be respectful. People have been very helpful and kind, and I've got support. I've not got a lot of the things some people complain about. I haven't. The only one I think that would have been pretty consistent is the one I talked about. But once people know that that's my position, they just kind of shift away from me and find a way around it. So unfortunately, I haven't faced a lot of those kinds of dilemmas.
Wonderful. Finally, Ma, some individuals listening to you now want to monetize as coaches also.
Okay.
But one of the issues they are facing is that they may not have systems. So what kind of system strategies that you've utilized to be able to, make predictable income in the job that you do? I mean, I see you online, you do a lot of videos and all. Some of them they're not doing such things, because they don't understand that those are the things that form the system that can make them predictable income. So if you can share like your strategies or 2 or 3 or 4, if you can.
So let me say straight up,
Because we want people to go from just random stuff to, doing predictable stuff
Okay.
to bring them income.
I think one thing people need to accept, if you've chosen to go via the route of making money from knowledge, you have to divorce yourself finally from that mental sickness called shyness. You cannot be shy. Even if I tell you, Rebecca, that I'm a shy person, you won't believe, because shyness does not pay the bills. So I had to go and sew agbada of confidence and weight with face cap of bravery. So I put the shyness at home and I face all that introverted stuff. I just kept it at home. Wear the apparel that is required for the journey. So if you are serious, except you're not serious, if you're serious about making money, the first thing you must do is that you must come out. People need to know that this is who, because if you don't say here I am, how will we say there you are or there she is or there he is? You need to say here I am. And then if you say here I am what? Here I am doing what?
Yeah.
The first part of the system, because if it's a funnel, the entry point of the funnel is here I am, see me, this is what I do, I can help you. Then the next point is here is how I can help you. And then pay me and I would work with you. Of course, once you say here I am, and I'll give you a simple feed. For instance, if I go to a church to speak, let's take a church I speak at regularly would be Redeemed. So if I go to Redeem and I speak for say 30 minutes, a call to action would be for them to set up their financial plans. Now, when it's time to set up your financial plan, the question is going to be, who can help me set up my financial plan? Hey, see me, see you, see financial plan. And I say, okay, so please, help me set up my financial plan. And I tell them, oh, it costs so and so hundreds of thousands of naira. And they go, if I had hundreds of thousands, will I need financial plan? Won't I just start my journey? And I say, oh, okay, that means you cannot afford me as of now. So I cannot help you. And then they go, no, but Mark, is there any way you can help? And I say, okay, if you at least want to start the journey, you can start with watching my videos for free. So they go on YouTube, they watch the videos for free. But even after watching the videos, they'll say, Ma, do you have something else we can do? I say, okay, I have books. They can buy books. Okay, say, Ma, okay, yeah, I've read the books, but I think there's more. Okay, there's a course. I have courses. Okay, then they watch the courses. Next thing they come and they say, Ma, you know what? I can't avoid it. I need to work with you one-on-one. So they have gone the long roundabout route. They have bought books, they have listened to videos. As they are watching videos, guess who gets paid? I do. As I read my books, guess who gets paid? I do. When they pay me, I do. And when at the end of all of this, guess what they also do? They go and tell somebody else. oh, I have seen someone who can help me. The person comes and the person says, okay, I would like to listen to you. The person listens to me and goes and tells his church, oh, we need to bring her to speak to us. That's how it works. But it all starts from saying what? Here I am, see me, I can do this. For anybody who is serious about monetizing, try to get into that space. Is it possible to monetize without coming out and speaking? Yes, but it will be very hard. It means you have to build an external brand that will do that, or work with a brand that can do that, or leverage, or just write books. But even if you write books, you have to market the books. Someone has to publish the books. So if you're serious about it, I would encourage you, come out of the shyness. You don't have to do public speaking per se. Luckily, technology is here now. You can stay in the comfort of your room, put on a camera. You don't even need to put camera. You can do podcast with just voice, just audio notes, put it out there. But by all means, let people know that you have a solution. And I like, for those who are Christians, I like to quote the scripture. This scripture that you all know and you all use, that is what it means. City set on a hill. City is not set inside a valley. City set on a hill so that people can see you. Light put on a lamp stand so that people can see you. All of it is what? Visibility. You have to be visible. Unfortunately, if I could do this thing I'm doing it from my bedroom under my duvet with AC chilling me, I would prefer it. Unfortunately, the world needs our light. The world needs the brightness of our light. So we must come out and let our light shine.
Wow, it's been an amazing time with you, Ma. And
Thanks, Emeka. Thanks for having me.
And there's one final thing that I want to say that you do. I mean, you don't want us to live our lives on Facebook. With this sort of things you complain, with this sort of why what do we now do?
You people tend to forget. People forget easily. Like once I posted that, how can you be having shower and you put excess soap on your head, you put foam, you cover it, and you are singing in the shower and you don't have money? What are you singing? You are running water, wasting
So
soap.
liable to enjoy their lives.
They can enjoy as long as
I said something in the comment section, man. I am dying yesterday.
So
What is all this?
one of my clients sent me a message yesterday. She was the one judging herself. She said, Coach T, this is to inform you that I have bought shawarma. It was not in the budget and I am eating it. Come and arrest me.
See what the guy doing?
Come and arrest me. I bought shawarma and I'm eating it. Thank you.
But those are great ways of showing people, simple things about finance.
But yeah,
There are people are learning from that, restraint and being
delayed gratification. Yeah.
Thank you so much, very much, Ma, for
Thanks for
this conversation. It's been an amazing time with my friend Tobore, the personal finance coach, and she's done an amazing work in the field. She's someone worthy of following, and of course, I know that you've learned all through the conversation we've had on this podcast. Subscribe to our channel, our Knowledge Money University channel, Knowledge Money Podcast channel here on YouTube, and also watch all our podcast episodes that we've done. In them are conversations that need the money. See you next time on the next episode. My name is Emeka Nobis, and I'm glad to be the host of this podcast. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma.
Thanks, Emeka. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.